We were told that there was such a widespread support for universal background checks that a bipartisan bill would be on its inevitable way to passage. Instead, 3 of the 4 senators involved in those discussions do not endorse the bill that is now before us. I sense from Senator Schumer that he's hoping that that can still happen. The bill that we're on is somewhat similar to a bill that Senator Schumer introduced in the previous Congress. So let's start with the big picture problems that I find with it. First, as a witness stated at the hearings, there's no way to enforce a requirement of universal background checks without implementing a gun registration. I acknowledge Senator Schumer says that the federal law prevents such a registry, but federal law can be changed by federal law, and this would-be federal law requires the federal licensed dealer to keep a registration record of the transfer. Mass shootings would continue to occur despite universal background checks. Criminals will continue to steal guns and buy them illegally to circumvent the requirement. When that happens, we will be back again debating whether gun registration is needed, and when registration fails, the next move will be gun confiscation. In fact, the Deputy Director of the National Institute of Justice concluded earlier this year with respect to universal background checks that, quote, effectiveness depends on requiring gun registration, end of quote. He noted that the largest sources of how criminals obtain guns are through straw purchases and theft. He wrote that straw purchases and theft, quote, would likely become larger if background checks at gun shows and private sellers were addressed. This bill would unnecessarily burden private sales. I think it has unintended consequences. The law already requires background checks for sales by licensed dealers. We're told that criminals don't get guns because of current background checks. We're told that when they seek to purchase guns, background checks prevent them, but that is not the case. Obviously, criminals still get guns. They obtain them because they do not comply with background checks. Supporters of this bill contend that if we only make background checks universal, criminals will not get guns. But criminals do not comply with existing background check laws.